let's begin with Happy Together.
Yes, in which we move over to Argentina in this 1997 effort as Leslie Cheung's Ho Po Wing and Tony Leung's Lai Yufei are introduced to us on an ill-fated road trip to a scenic waterfall, aborted when an argument sees Po Wing storm off and initiate the latest in what's clearly a series of breakups between the two. We later rejoin Fai, working as a promoter come bouncer at a Buenos Aires nightclub, with him taking up the by now familiar voiceover duties of narrating his life, while he's trying to save some money to return to the Hong Kong that he misses, when life throws a spanner in the works when Po Wing shows up with a new bloke, although it seems at this instance he's a paying client. A blow-by-blow recap of the twists and turns of their relationship as they are again drawn to each other through some desperate events probably won't do a great deal of justice to them, but must be said that after the last episode's surfeit of relationships that stretched credulity, we finally have one here that I can finally believe in and invest some emotion in. Not a healthy relationship, obviously, on either party's end, but one that feels altogether human as these two come together again and inevitably, it seems, fall apart again. The other strand woven into this comes from a work colleague of Fai's, Chang Chen's Chang, another Taiwanese youngster touring about, stopping off to make some money before travelling to the ends of the earth, or at least the lighthouse at the end of the world. He and Fai become friends, Chang's only friend in Argentina, he says, and it seems like there may be more than just friendship on the cards. However, it's not the case, Chang remaining a solitary figure on the rest of his travels, leaving us wondering if perhaps the title of this film is purely ironic. If you didn't catch our last podcast, the general consensus, I think, would be that Y has style to spare his films, although plot and character were, in fact, spared almost entirely. As a relationship study, I suppose you could argue that this still isn't going in hard on the plot elements, but as mentioned earlier, it's finally delivered a bunch of characters that I'm invested in, a final component for proper enjoyment of his films, when coupled with the, by now, expected fine performances from Leslie Cheung and Tony Leung. Thankfully, the style remains too, with another well-shot film that contrasts the city's charms alongside the characters' less glamorous lodgings and later workplaces. Finally, it's all come together to produce something that I can recommend without having to put any caveats in. As for wider meaning, I've heard arguments on both sides as to this film's presentation of the gay relationship, drawing as it does little to no attention to the leads actually being gay. Is this entirely normalising the relationship in society, as ideally it should be, or minimising the lived experiences of the gay community, for whom such normalisation is far from guaranteed, both sadly now and at the time of release? I'm not best placed to judge, but I recommend that you all watch it and make your own minds up. Yes, quite enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I almost entirely agree with you, Scott. I did go into this a little bit trepidatious because of our experience the last time. I need something with a bit more substance, just doesn't have to be narrative, but I don't want just more ridiculously unhealthy relationships. We just have a slightly unhealthy relationship here. That's progress. Yeah, and people I cared about. Yeah, I actually don't have a lot to add to what you said. I really enjoyed the mood of it. I think certainly out of these 10 films, I think there's one with what you might term a happy ending. So, they're a bit of a downer in that regard. Although I do appreciate that the way the relationship just sort of drifts apart here feels realistic. Not with any big drama bomb or anything like that. Yeah. I feel that it's something as a film I could actually get quite a lot more out of with another review, dig deeper into what the black and white portions mean compared to the colour ones. And I had a few guesses, but I think with knowledge of what happens later, to go back and watch it again might get more out of it. And that's the thing. Whereas I was happy enough to have seen all the films in the last podcast. I don't think there were many, apart from maybe Chungking Express, I'd fancy seeing again. Whereas this one immediately was I'd give that another go in a few years, which is a nice thing to go on. As to your point about the gay relationship, Scott, again, I also, like yourself, not best placed to comment, but I am thinking of things like Brokeback Mountain, which at the time, was so, well, in some circles controversial, unfortunately, but it made such a big deal of it being this gay story. It wasn't. It was just basically, it was a romantic drama that happened to be about two men, rather than about them being gay. I mean, there was part of it with the people around them and the way they acted, but I feel this is a bit more along those lines. But I think the question might be whether there isn't enough of the films that explore the gay part of it. The difficulties. At the same point, it's like, let's just treat it like a relationship, which is the way it should be. But yes, again, not best place to talk about it, but it's yeah, really good film. I really enjoyed my time with it.
The other part that didn't occur to me until I read up a bit afterwards, but the timing of this is, of course, very close to the handover of Hong Kong back to China from Britain, or at least a administrative relationship, and you can view this as an extended allegory for that relationship between Britain, Hong Kong, and China as well. So
Yes.
that's another interesting aspect that would be interested to kind of review with that in mind as well.
I will take that into my first viewing because I did not have time to watch this, but I feel confident saying I loved it.